Good afternoon. It's great to be here. It's an honor. Carlos Cosin was the person responsible for this session, but unfortunately he was called to a very urgent board meeting in Abu Dhabi, and he has excused himself, and he asked me to make the presentation and to be the moderator of this session. I'm going to be very brief. I just would like to say that I've been researching climate change for almost 20 years now, and my passion for climate change has taken me to the North Pole, the Arctic Circle, all the way down to South Africa. I have gone to the Caribbean to investigate the migration of fish due to warming of the waters, but I do it just because I have a passion, and I believe that you got to do something in this life for your future generations, and I have 2 kids that I love them dearly, and I want to try to do something for them. And what I have discovered in these trips, it's just one thing in common: the concern of all the planet for water. Water is going to be the most impacted area of our planet because of climate change. And I have taken the liberty of using a lot of images and a lot of text from the United Nations because I think they're running a very comprehensive program about water. Is it working? Yeah. Water is the primary medium through which we feel the effects of climate change. It's like a sensor, like a barometer. The first area of the planet that gets affected is our water resources. We have to ensure sustainable water and sanitation services. It's a critical climate change mitigation strategy. Water availability will impact health and food security and has already triggered what we call climate refugees. And climate refugees is going to be one of the major issues in our planet. I want to ask you a question. Some of you, maybe you will know it. Can anybody tell me which has been the largest migration in humankind? From rural to urban, from Asia to Europe? Adrian Rich, you know the answer. Has anybody thought about that? It's very simple. From offline to online. This is officially the biggest migration in humankind before climate migration. If we don't do something, climate refugees are going to represent the largest migration in our planet. Keep that in mind. A few facts and figures, very quickly. Number 1, globally, water scarcity affects 4 out of 10 people in the world. Second, lack of water and poor water quality creates a lot of diseases, especially diarrhea in impoverished countries. That kills more or less 2.2 million people every year, as well as trachoma. Trachoma is an eye disease, which is the picture that you see on the screen. 2, the increases in temperature and the more variability on climate are expected to reduce crop yields, and my colleagues together with me in the panel will discuss these issues, especially Linda, who will touch on dry farming. Number 3, more than 2 billion people live in countries experiencing water stress, water shortage. The situation will worsen as population and demand for water grows, and the effects of climate change get more and more intense. 4, with the existing climate as we know today, by 2030, water scarcity in some parts of the planet, especially semi-arid places, will displace, and listen to this, 24 million and 700 million people. That's why I insist that climate refugees and the migration due to climate change will be the biggest migration the human race has ever seen. By the year 2080, land unsuitable for agriculture due to severe climate with soil or terrain constraints may increase by 30 to 60 million hectares. And that is a statistic from FAO. What are the strategies being used nowadays? what are the solutions proposed by the United Nations? Number one, we have to understand the role of water. Water plays a crucial role in how the world, the scientists, the companies, will mitigate and adapt to the effects of climate change. We have to put water at the top of our priorities. Number two, we have to develop an integrated view on water, on the biosphere, on environmental flows, because it's required to devise a sustainable agricultural concept. This will allow us to decelerate. We will not stop climate change. We can only slow it down. What can we do? These are the three strategies proposed by the United Nations. And this is something that we should all learn as the wine industry. It's these events that happen around the world. They mobilize thousands, millions of people. You know, it's the effort of one person, but one plus a city, plus a country, plus a continent. It's how we can solve the climate crisis. I was very honored to visit South Africa, and I was a keynote speaker on Water Day in Cape Town, where I met Andre Roux. And I realized when I landed there, although I had been studying what was happening in Cape Town for a long time, that it's real. I mean, when they tell you that people have 50 liters of water per person, I'm a family of 4, that means 200 liters. But when I came back, I realized that every time my daughter was taking a shower, she was using approximately 80 liters. So we have to change the way we consume water. We have to change the way we consume goods. We have to change, period. So World Water Day is a beautiful initiative. Another one, and this is the message behind, it's leave no one behind, because the people that are suffering the most of water scarcity and water pollution, it's not our society. It's the people in Africa, in South America, and Southeast Asia. This is another very interesting initiative. It's called World Toilet Day, and it's not a joke. And it's getting more and more followers. Why? 892 million people defecate in public areas. Think about that from a health point of view. 4.5 billion people live without a safe toilet. So World Toilet Day is celebrated on the 19th of November, and it's about taking action to provide people the opportunity to make their necessities in a civilized manner. And the third action, the third initiative by the United Nations is called Water Action Decade. Summarizing, we have 10 years, no more, to stop the climate crisis and to do something about the water resources. And paying my respects to Antonio Gutierrez, the Secretary General for the United Nations, I want to quote him: "This is an opportunity to raise awareness, define a roadmap, and advance the water agenda." Because the wine industry, which is what brings us today, it's very water consuming. There are a lot of statistics, but in general, most books agree that to make 1 bottle of water, you need to make 1 bottle of wine, you need more or less 4 liters of water. And water is used in different parts of the winery, from the vineyard to the bottling, to the cleaning of the barrels, to the cleaning of the different bottles. So it's very important to have my 2 guests with me who will talk about water, and let me introduce them. So I want to leave you with just this message: let's not leave anyone behind. Let's think about how we use our water. When we go home, when you shave, don't keep the tap running. Close it. When you take a shower, think about them. So many people in South Africa and other parts of the world who don't have this luxury. Thank you very much.